Good evening and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 5 of the LTC Uncut. You are here with Tisha.
I am Ali.
And Erin is out making some money this evening. So make sure you guys go and follow her at Curvy_boss, BAWSE_CEO. So, Ali.
Real quick, y'all know this is Lunch Time Chronicles Uncut. So viewer discretion is advised. Alright, let's get into it.
So just a couple house cleaning things, guys. Look at the bottom of the screen and go follow, like, share the Lunchtime Chronicles. Please follow, like, share. We greatly appreciate that. And make sure you goes. Here we go. Make sure you guys go and follow us at the Lunchtime Chronicles on Facebook. And then follow us at the LTC Uncut on the gram. You can also catch Ali and our show on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the Lunchtime Chronicles. It's right there at the bottom, so make sure you follow that. It's at 11:45 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right?
That's right. That's about
Ali,
right.
what's been going on?
Not much, same old. Just working. Same thing. Nothing new.
Nothing? You sure?
Some new, but we'll talk about that maybe later in the Uncut.
Okay, cool. That's good. You'll bring it up. Just make sure you bring it up because we definitely have to let the people know about that. Where can the people find you?
So my Instagram is just_Ali216. It's right at the bottom. So yeah, learn how to read and type it in right there.
And then you guys can follow me on Instagram at Miss. I changed it. It's MRSTICIA. Make sure you got that, Ricky. Okay. I changed it. No, well, I might go back, but sometimes you got to switch it up. So I switched it up. So I'm back to the Mrs. Tisha. So you guys can follow us there. And then just to recap, guys, one day you'll be able to see the show. We had our live show at Kings and Queens, which was really dope that we did with the Stoop 216. We had fun, so we want to thank everybody who came out and joined us that evening. Thank you to the participants, the dating game, those persons who won the cash. You didn't really win, but it's okay. We blessed you anyways.
I dropped the balls on that one, but
yeah, he dropped the ball big time. He called out a name and somebody responded, and it wasn't their name.
I went around the whole bar saying, I don't even remember her name, but I went around the whole bar saying, is this Articula's name? You know what it is. Nisha. So I kept saying, are you Nisha? Everybody was saying no. And then the girl, the only one that I didn't say it to yet, I was like, are you Nisha? She was like, yeah, why? And I'm like, oh, you won. Oh, she got it.
Free lunch.
Do you check IDs when you do raffles and stuff?
I think they do.
Well, we ain't had the rules down yet. We ain't had the rules down. I apologize.
So, guys, we have some more things coming up in store at the end of the show. Ali will drop that information for you to let you know what we have coming up next month very soon. But let's get into the business. As you can see, we have somebody joining us on the couch. He may look very familiar to a lot of you LTC Uncut followers. This young man I have known since, kindergarten, maybe? Long time. We will not reveal our ages. You already know that I'm 25, so that means he's 25 as well. Just don't let the beer gang matters fool you. Okay, we are young and in our prime. But this is Mr. Coffey, Sean Coffey, 2-time Emmy Award-winning producer, editor. EC, baby.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Dan. Say it out, Dan. Let everybody know what it is.
Let them know. So, welcome to the show, Sean.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. It's good to be with a beyond familiar face. And I'm just interested to talk to y'all and give y'all whatever y'all want to talk about today.
Well, we do have you here this evening, but you came home for, family matters. And we do definitely want to give you our condolences on your recent loss in the family, and anything that you need, support, whatever. We are definitely here for you for that. How's the family holding up?
Everybody doing all right. Tough blow is a tough blow.
Yeah.
But you gotta stay on your feet, keep going. So
yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
So, throughout your life, and just starting off maybe elementary school to middle school, high school, you've been athletics. You started off playing basketball. When did you transition over to playing football?
Actually, I played football first.
Okay. Okay.
And then I got into basketball, and once I kept going, getting older, things like invitations to camps out of state start happening.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So that was when I left the area.
Okay.
And like wasn't going down south to visit my family, staying in like I was going on my own to be gone for a week or two in Tucson, Arizona, in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, like going to these places. Number one with white people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So sports was like my first real interaction of going away and being around other cultures, mainly white people, because you know where we from. It's 100% black elementary, middle school, high school. It's all East Side High. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but going and just being around other people from different backgrounds, even black people. I met a brother from Alaska when I was like 12, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a culture shock in itself. But like, that was the big part of the athletics that changed and probably helped some of the accolades we talk about today.
Okay.
Real quick, shout out to the Brolaskins out there. I didn't even know we had some out there. Good job.
Brolaskins. Hashtag that down there on there for us, Ricky. Brolaskins. So I read the other day you were going through some of your accomplishments and your achievements, and one thing that stood out to me was an article that you did, and I'm not sure what paper it was because I don't think it was listed. Mm-hmm. But in the article, you talked about going to a college, and the college guidance counselor, if I can say that was right, or
academic coordinator.
Academic coordinator picked your major for you.
Yeah, I was a big time Division I football player. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things and a lot of perks came with that. And with perks, you know, you can turn a blind eye to things. And my parents didn't really go to college like full time in the capacity that I was headed into. And I didn't have a lot of guidance. So they had groups of like think tanks, so to speak, like academic coordinators that kind of selected our classes for most of us.
Okay.
And I think my background didn't help, and I was a person, like you know me, graduating with hospitality management. So basically, I could run a hotel and run a restaurant. You know, that's slave shit.
Right.
But, you know, come out with them type of degrees, and I ain't even nowhere near that type of thinker. But it come out like that, and you plan on going for another reason and make your mama proud with this degree, but you stuck in a situation where you kind of cornered. If you want to go back to this route you wanted to do, you might have to pay, you know, so paying wasn't an option. That's why some of us ball the way we do, because we can't, college ain't an option if we don't play. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of them, so Lord knows what I'd have been doing if I never left.
Right.
So, but and that became a big situation because I actually did the interview for a journalism student at my school. Mm-hmm. A white girl. I didn't really know her, but she knew me from me playing and covering the team. Mm-hmm. She asked a favor. And honestly, I told myself, because I was back from the Chargers, I got injured, and I came back to school. Mm-hmm. And I was like, don't come off like you bigger than people because you got all this money and stuff. Now, like, you know what I'm saying? So I did the interview for her. She sold the damn interview, just a part of it, to Sports Illustrated, and like it was real negative on my behalf. Like, but they called Mr. Culliver, they called my parents, they called. So it was this other kind of story we was building. Yeah. But she sold that part because she asked a question, I answered it honestly. I'm being honest with, but I learned about the power of the pen before I even got into journalism and all that myself. That was my lesson on the power of the pen, though. She took me being honest, and she took just that, and she sold me out and sold it, you know, for her own game, you know. But I remember when I was in NFL Films, she's like, how you get that job? But she didn't want to graduate with journalism, and I did. So, just amazing how that played out. But,
wow.
Yeah.
So, while you were in school, you just mentioned that you were with the Chargers.
Correct.
Okay, how long were you with them? How did that transpire for you?
Oh man, so coming out of college, I was, what I later learned, red flagged. I came out pretty injured, so messed my draft stock up, but still got a call from the Chargers. And when I went out there, things was going well, and I ended up suffering another major injury that kind of cut the whole career short. But that was a surreal time, no doubt about it, as I reminisce. But nah, that was an interesting time, because now they just shoving money at you, and they never late with the checks. Like, you don't worry about none of that no more. You know what I'm saying? And like, so that instantly changes everything. You know, they say they're gonna give you $10,000-$15,000. You gonna have it in a day or so. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the number is, 80,000. I mean, I've seen checks. Mine, somebody else's. I've seen checks with long zeros on them.
Wow.
And you can't believe it. And that dude or you from a certain type of area, they from the same type of area as you, and everybody, nobody want nothing from nobody, because everybody got their own. Yeah, like, and it's cool. So now that was an interesting time, and the places and the doors that open up for you just by being affiliated is the crazy thing. And that's why I understand why people join certain organizations. You always hear about fraternities and like down the road and blah blah blah. Like, just being a part of like an organization with that stature, which is the San Diego Chargers, which is backed by the NFL shield. Like, you go to some places, parties, all that. Like, and it just comes with the territory. But like I said, coming from where we come from, it's pretty surreal.
So, Ricky wants to know.
I could have just said it.
Yeah, ask him the question, Ricky.
Actually, I was curious. How do you feel about that new NCAA rule that they can get paid for their image and name it?
I just want to know where mine.
See, and that's what I was thinking. How do past players even feel?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough because
there's a lot of money out there that ain't about to be.
That they never got.
I mean, my college got money off of me. I want some money.
Right. I mean, but it's see, people think they're about to get paid to actually play.
Yeah.
And that's not how it's gonna be. Their likeness, their name. So if somebody want to autograph, yeah, I could charge you $3,000 for that. And don't let me be a player, and I'm gonna name old players because Vince Young, you know what I'm saying? Brad Smith, Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow. Tebow would be the richest college player ever. This was going, but do they owe him money? Because I mean, he made that video game. Like, you see what I'm saying? He was on the cover. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you back pay? Because now they're gonna bring the game back. But now, how do you pay these guys? I don't think they can bring that video game back.
So, do you think that the reason that they don't pay is because your education is paid, your food is paid, your room and board is paid?
Yeah. Man, they just getting more money.
Yeah.
More money on more money. They make enough money. That is like a slave on type thing for real.
So, if I could transition, Sean, Ali played overseas, and he played basketball overseas, and you went to
Croatia.
Say again?
Croatia.
Okay. And what were some of your experiences? Like, before you went overseas, you were in school, like Sean said, that his academic coordinator, did I say it right? Yes. Did they pick your major for you too?
See, I went to a high D2 school, so not high D1, because I broke my hand my senior year and lost my scholarships. But when I went there, I was planning to be just an environmental engineer. They didn't have that, so I was going to switch to environmental science, which I do got that degree. But when I was taking it, my sophomore year, my coach, I remember coming up to me saying, well, a lot of these labs and stuff is interfering with our practice and all like that. And our team is like, we were ranked 12 my sophomore year. No, we were ranked 13 my sophomore year. And he was just like, so I'm going to need you to switch your major. If you want to take it, you could take it on later on, but right now we need you to switch your major, and that's why I went to business marketing. So they do that for real.
Yeah.
This is important for people who's watching, whose children may be getting off into sports and want to see this as a potential career for scholarships for colleges to go on. what happens after you don't successfully get into the NFL or you don't successfully get into the NBA? What do you have to fall back on? Like, do you see a lot of players or former players, what are they doing now? Like, who didn't make it?
Collectively, just from my experience, it's some guys doing good. It's some guys that work their networking hand from when they were players. But it's also the other end. Mm-hmm. Guys who didn't finish, so therefore they came out 4 or 5 years with no degree. So now they're working quote-unquote regular jobs. Like, because you think if you go to school for 4 or 5 years, you should come out with a degree and be able to get you a 6-figure job.
Right.
Or, you know, like, and guys living, you know, probably how they wouldn't want to live. I know a few from when I played, and it's tough to see. And I mean, shoot, even after the NFL, I had a steep year or two. I mean, you ain't immune to it just because you make it. I didn't sustain very long. I made it, but I didn't sustain. So, you know, things can get back to reality because I didn't have a degree when I first left. I had to go back and get mine. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it can end bad if you don't have a plan and it's set up. If you plan on scholarship in Division I, especially, I don't know all the Division II stipulations because I know to a degree they let y'all like tap more into your schoolwork as well. Like they make it more of a priority than it's about money with where I was at least. Like, and but we can't work because, like you said, the tuition's supposed to get, everything's supposed to be paid for. So you're supposed to, all your non-class time supposed to be focused on whatever the priority is for the institution athletically. And we can't work. So, and then in the summer it's voluntary, but you know, don't come for a week in the summer and watch you start camp with a down the slot. You know what I'm saying? So now a person like me who's interested in video production and all that, I can't go to New York in the summer and intern at BET or whatever, because what I learned about networking, BET would love to have a Big 12, all Big 12 football player come out to do an internship, because that's good for them too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When you playing like in the arena that I was playing in, like somebody like Tim Tebow want to go to New York and Cosmopolitan, whatever it is, and be on that magazine for an internship while he in college. You think they're not gonna let him come there? You see what I'm saying? But now with this likeness thing, just to bring it back full circle, with this whole likeness word now, they can do that. Mm-hmm. They can go get paid to do something non-football or basketball, whatever sport they play. Mm-hmm. They can go get paid in the summer and just be like, all right, I'm going to train up here because I'm getting paid by Cosmopolitan, blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? Now it gives the player a little leverage, and a lot of people don't like that, but, man, they don't want putting their ACLs on the line, man. They deserve it.
Wow. It's true. So, outside of the injury that you sustained, what did you do? What did you fall back on? Because I know you said you went back to school. What did you finish your degree with?
That hotel, restaurant.
Okay.
Okay. Since you were at that school and you did all this good stuff at the school, so when you came back, did they like look out for you with the tuition and anything? Like none of that?
No, I mean they fulfilled legal obligation. I'll say that. They didn't do nothing extra. They didn't do nothing under what they were supposed to. They didn't short me of benefits that I had left on my scholarship or whatever. I can't say that, but I did my, you know, the rest that I had left according to the contract. And, you know, and that's how it played out. It wasn't nothing more, nothing less.
Now, outside of the sports, you also tap into a holistic lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And you're big on that. Like, I see a lot of the things that you post. You follow Dr. Zebi a lot. Zebi, am I saying it right?
Dr. Zebi.
A lot. And you post a lot of his things. And it's a lot of information that you put out there. And you say, listen, nobody else is going to tell you this. What inspires you to just give so freely of the information that we're lacking?
It's a need. I remember I wasn't on social media for years. I honestly went back on a few years ago just to see where we was at, man, and it didn't check out well in my mind. Okay. So I figured with me going to the places or being where I was at the time, back then I wasn't past, working for the NFL and stuff like that, but being in the circles that I was in, gathering the information I was gathering from different places and different people, having an opportunity to meet and rub shoulders with certain people, I felt health was the most lacking subject out of what I was seeing. So I figured I would tap into that and just kind of grow the snowball, because it started out, I had discovered Dr. Sebi in like 2006 or 7.
Okay.
And a lot of people didn't know that, like, the last 2-3 years, you know what I'm saying? And trust me, you can go back, if you go back, you'll see me talking about him back then. But when I saw that people were becoming aware, and then obviously when they killed him, but before that, people was starting to get on the bandwagon and understand who he was. But he, that's who people was clinging to. So I would use him to draw, because he's not even my number one guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's not even my number one guy. And I ain't gonna say not even close, because that sound arrogant and disrespectful. But just the way that they deliver and teach Dr. Laila Africa, it has been my best teacher in this whole journey.
Okay.
But common stuff that people, codes, weight loss, like how to fast, people don't know how to do it, and it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And you usually got all these tools in your spice cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But what you spicing is the question.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured that is the main thing, especially I firmly believe every problem starts in your gut. So start with what you eat, how you eat, and that's what I observed for a while, and then I just started rolling it out, and it's been like 8 years straight. And now people starting to get that I'm for real with it. Yeah.
I've gotten quite a few messages from you and had me like, ooh, I'm not messing with that. I'm not messing with this. Ricky has another question.
Oh. What is the point? I was curious though. He was said to have like cured a few diseases.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? Do you believe those things actually happened? Do you believe it was really just a boost in people's immune systems? Because it was like literally in the paper. I remember he had to go to court for it and all those different things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I believe in cures. I've seen cures. So, cures happen. Cures is real. I mean, I would start, and this is how I do. So I start, Dr. Sebi, big thing is, and this is just to get everybody on the same wavelength. His big thing is everything starts with mucus. Like every disease is mucus, and he's right. And that's the secret. We think a cold is something different than gangrene. Like, it's really not, to a degree, you know what I'm saying? It's just the same type of clutter and traffic in a different area of the body. It's affecting, something might be affecting your nerves and your skin, but not as deep into, as something else might be. Like mucus building within in your lungs, that's a whole different thing than something on the surface, because a cut lets something in that make you susceptible to the mucus. You know what I'm saying? Like, just putting that in context, like, we didn't think about stuff like that. But I forget the guy's name right now, and I ain't gonna try to mess it up. But Dr. Sebi had a teacher on that. He got a weird last name. I want to go there, but never mind. But and he wrote the books in like the 1800s. He was talking about this same concept. So this ain't nothing new. And that was another thing with me. When I started really getting opened up to this and other subjects, but this in particular, I started going back and reading books from like the 1500s and the 1300s, and listen how they talk, and listen what's consistent all the way through, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? With Dr. Sebi and whoever talking about now, you kind of got to go back to who the old herbalist was. Things that Imhotep used, things that Hippocrates used, who stole everything from, Imhotep's teachings or whatever. But that information, that's how it traveled though. With conquering, the information is stolen and whitewashed or whatever, washed into whoever got the hand on it. You know what I'm saying? Cause shit, the conqueror got the pen in the end. So, like, but nah, if you just go through history, I mean, I took the time, and I know I took the time, and nobody else gonna do it. So I gotta say it.
Right.
Now, if you want me to come fix you, that may cost you. That's time. You know what I'm saying? But the stuff I done looked over to be able to go fix somebody, I can talk about common stuff. I want your whole household to not have a cold.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And there's simple ways to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I hope y'all got y'all pen.
Elderberry, like in El Campaign, them two right there alone, like, then nobody even know this stuff, and it drives me crazy. Because we talk about schooling, we talk about education, we talk about all this stuff, and I'm talking about this stuff will wipe stuff out in like a day or two. That's the crazy part. I've seen it work. I've seen it work on me, my kids, whoever. Like, you get to taking these direct herbs, they go right into your blood and go to work. And go to work.
What do you recommend for migraines?
Migraines. Water, first of all.
Okay.
But besides water, it's something in particular that you can take called feverfew. Feverfew, it gets in your system, but it targets like swollen and thriving blood vessels. And that's the concept of a migraine in your head. Like, you got blood vessels all in your brain, and now they swelling up on you. That's the discomfort up there. So it targets that, and it helps relieve that. Now at the same time, if you're really trying to get rid of it, you want to be burning some essential oil, lavender in particular. You know, everybody know about lavender, or some lavender tea, just some kind of tea. I said feverfew. I mean, then you want to, I'm a mixer. So if I'm attacking this head and I'm trying to go to bed, I try to take something to offset and calm me down too. I mean, I'm going to tell you the truth. If you smoke weed, yes, smoke weed with a migraine and a headache. It works.
I mean, it helps eventually, but sometimes they get so strong that doesn't.
It just depends on where you're getting it from, I guess.
Yeah.
But nah, I mean, but it does help alleviate that trauma and that tension, because especially women get migraines all the time because your body's totally different than ours. But since I said something, ain't no woman on this planet should be taking red raspberry every day. Like,
where do you get these things? And then say what red raspberry is.
All right, but most of this stuff you can get from between Vitamin Shop, Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, because they all got their own sections now. Vitamin Shop gonna have some of the deeper stuff.
Okay.
When you get to like the butcher's room, when you need to clean your blood vessels and your arteries and stuff out. You know, like, that's not gonna be at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? But most on the surface stuff, and a little bit like most needed stuff, most first aid kit type stuff. Now, if you trying to, like, they ain't gonna have black seed oil at them commercial stores. Vitamin Shop will have it, or a straight up herb shop like Weber's. They have black seed oil. One time I found an actual dried plant and was making this tea, and it was actually good, but like, that was the only time I ever got it like that. But black seed oil is an everyday, everybody thing.
So if I can ask, why do you feel as though this information isn't privy or even distributed to the black community? Because a lot of people don't know, like, they quick to run to the hospital, pick up certain pills that are recommended, get a prescription, use that, instead of doing it the holistic way of cleansing your body, you know.
Because it's easy. And what I mean by easy, it'll make it feel good now. But it'll be back again, and it'll make it feel good now. And to answer the initial part of your question, if you get my rhythm and you're back again, and then you make it feel good now. What is the medicine, right? You gotta come back with your prescription, keep paying that monthly on that prescription.
That's what it is.
Yeah, man.
Man.
You keep paying that money, and they keep getting you the other way. You going this way, they coming this way. And that is no fun and no money in a cured person.
Exactly. There ain't no money in healing somebody.
You gotta figure it out yourself. And I know that.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm hearing people talk about the healthcare, people y'all wouldn't even believe. in the room with them, and they talking about how the hell care about to go. But with understanding that, I'll do it myself to go pilfer through all these books,
right.
to pilfer through all these cases, and then just give y'all what I can, and hopefully once y'all understand, once the news start talking about it a couple years later, but that's how it goes. A couple years later, the news will start talking about it, and then y'all be like, oh man, you wasn't tripping. But once y'all understand that, I don't need to profit off y'all, but time is time. And I'm trying to give you what I'm giving. Well, I'm giving people 64 ounces of sea moss, for sea moss smoothie for $25. When them jokers like $8, $9 a piece, that's like 6 or 7 full glasses, $8 a piece, $25. Like, I ain't here to profit off y'all. Right. I just want to get y'all started. Right. You know what I mean? I shouldn't need y'all after a while. Like, y'all shouldn't be coming back. That's the whole, and they don't trust people like me. They trust the dude that you keep paying. and if you keep coming back, anything in the hood with these rules, we would not fool with. Anything, if I fix something for you, or fix something for you, if I fix your dishwasher, and you gotta call me back in 3 days, like the same problem happening, and I'll be like, all right, pay me again, and I'll fix it. And then I come back and fix your dishwasher. This is meds, like, you know what I mean? This is a doctor visit with, because you know if you hit the ER, that's like 180. Right. Like, but this is all, and you just boom, 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 every 6 days, 9 days, 2 days, you back sick. And you just keep paying for the same thing. Y'all would not do that with the plumber. Y'all will whoop his ass one time he come back. Like, that's what I'm saying, after your 4th tank, like, hold on. But y'all won't do that. And this information is like free. Out of all the books I talk about, I read, my biggest #1 source, I usually carry it with me. I had a rough evening tonight, but I usually carry it with me everywhere I go. That's how small it is too. $8. And I'm talking about, I done got people out of chemo. And my main source, it was an $8 book. It's right there. $8.
Where you can get this book?
I got that particular book at Barnes & Noble. And I just was looking for something else, and I seen it, opened it, I was like, oh. It catered to how I think, put it that way. It may not, this book might not be bomb to you, but it catered to how I think. Especially at the time, my biggest thing with these herbs is I like to pride myself on the talent of being able to combine them and really wipe something out. You know what I mean? Or really boost your energy. Or really, you know, and I got like, basically like 100, and I'm not even gloating. I got like 100% satisfaction rate. No, and most of all of them do. If you know them and you ask them, yeah, I fix everybody.
So I got 2 questions.
Sure.
First one. Damn, I had Ali moment. Crazy. She finally happened though. I just said it in my head when you were talking. I'm like, I got it. All right. So first one, and this is there any? Okay, so flu shots is just going to the hospital to get flu shots and walking in. That's just off the. That shit don't happen. Right? Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't do that either. Don't be going. I ain't go since I was like 8, and I ain't been sick.
My kids on the exempt list. Like, no.
Yeah. Okay, that was that. And then second, is there any route to give you that thunder?
Oh.
That power.
Here we go.
That thrust. You know what I mean?
Well,
dragon root.
Before I say anything, everything I tell you has been tested by me. So,
okay. Good to know.
Like, and everything I'm about to speak on, I guess, I believe in.
I have to drink on this because I'm ready to hit.
So the new one that I kind of knew about, but I was using other recipes that I've created recipes at this point, and back to my 100% satisfactory rate. Like, but the new one that people was talking about is something called ltcuncut Ali. And
there you go.
My name's Ali. Sounds good right there.
See, you halfway there.
Halfway.
But nah, ltcuncut I seen a lot of trusted folks that I know what's up in the game talking about it. So I'm like, all right, man. You know, so I had to get it a while back. I had to say that, I mean, it just depends, like, on what you're looking for. Like, that, especially for a younger brother, it ain't no blue pill, so you ain't about to just be walking around all day and, like, you look at somebody and just, like, you know what I mean? Like, you ain't about to be like a sixth grader. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with no control. Nah. But, like, with these herbs, like, that one in particular, that can kind of stand alone. But when I use these things, I kind of use a ginseng with it just to keep your blood flowing, because erection is nothing but blood flow. And like when we get into the erectile dysfunctions and stuff like that, like they say, this is a man young, and as you get older, you know what I'm saying? That's how they do you.
That's dope. I ain't really saying that.
But I'm saying, like, they say this is it. But let's be real. The average person, not somebody like me who try to really pay attention to what they eat, like just the average person on the Western diet, this is you. Probably to about 23, 24. You know what I'm saying? Then, as we go forward, it's probably about 3 to 5 year window as we keep going. You know what I'm saying? Because we eating steak, we eating fried shrimp, we eating
nasty
McDonald's.
Nasty McDonald's.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. So if you got, so we uncut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you got a shaft, so at the base of the shaft where it connects to your body, that's where your blood vessels like going into the muscle where the man penis is or whatever. And it's like an entryway that obviously you can't see from the exterior, but like it's an entryway, and that entryway right there alone can be clogged up from a bad diet or bad habits. That entryway, because your body is electric, and with no sleep, you don't recharge your battery. So add a 32-year-old dude that eat Kim's wings 3 times a week, let alone whatever else he eating during the week. We know these people, or we was these people at one point. I was a football player and I used to eat like one. You know what I'm saying? So don't get me wrong. But that type of diet, you eat Polish boys, you eat corned beef, you eat all the time, 5, 6, 10 times a month. You eating like that, let alone with your grandmama or your mama cooking. You know what I mean? So if you eating that soul diet, so to speak, then you up playing 2K and getting high damn near every night. You gotta get up and work at 6 o'clock and you struggling through work. And you know what I mean, you living that lifestyle. Man, you can be in this area here at 28. You see what I'm saying? Blood flow is everything. Erection is blood flow. And a lot of these herbs trigger blood flow. And once you understand that, you can combine them. You see what I'm saying? And if you got the diet to match, then you in your 30s playing in between this window right here. You're in your 40s playing in between this window right here. And you know after you get over that 40 hill, whoever playing in these top 3 windows is winning, and they gonna be winning. So that's just how it's gonna go.
Right.
That's how you maintain it though. Do your diet to start, but there's other things you can do. I say this, dudes and women, when you masturbate, use black seed oil. Look up the. I'm just saying, look up the benefits. I'm just saying, look up the benefits. I'm just being for real. I hate when people act like they don't do that shit.
Oh no.
Like.
We uncut. We keep real.
But I'm just saying, like, period.
Even if
People get uncomfortable.
Right.
But shit, when I'm talking about the body, I'm talking about whatever.
Right.
Trust me, I done got some calls and some cases. And, you know, I would never disclose none of that. Even though I ain't a doctor, I would never disclose nothing nobody ever called me about. But I done got some calls and some cases. So, shoot, when somebody asks me about this, I tell you whatever. Because I'm trying to get you whatever you're trying to know.
Right.
I'm telling you. Just black seed oil. look at the benefits of it. I mean, I can sit here and waste time and name everything that it do. But it help elasticity, women. Wink, shoot. Like, but I'm just saying, like, and for fellas, it promotes blood flow anywhere. Like, so if you put it on, anywhere on your skin, anything touch your skin going in your body.
Yeah.
And it's going straight to your blood.
Biggest organ. Right,
and it's going straight to your bloodstream. But this promotes blood flow. You see what I'm saying? I mean, and
is this at like Walmart?
Huh?
Is this at like Walmart or something?
I haven't seen it physically in any Walmart, any state I've ever tried to find it in, but they always claim on the website you can get it and order it, whatever. But man, black seed oil, I like to try to go and get my black seed oil at some kind of local vitamin, or you know what I mean, like
a
one of those Weber's vitamin shop. Even though they're a national chain, they cater for the GNC, man. Like somewhere that's like really angled at all this stuff, herbs and just body supplements. You know what I mean? Like I try to do that because they be having any brand in CVS or Walmart with black seed oil. You can't do that.
So before we switch over, and Ali's gonna take over in a minute, I just have one last question for you. Throughout your transition from playing for college, going to the Chargers, to going back to school, to now your newfound love in which you're working, what would you say is your greatest joy out of it all? And accomplishments, like, because we didn't even talk about how you got the Emmys.
Well, I still would say, even though I won Emmys and been a part of a lot of big projects that been viewed around the world and on cable and all kind of stuff, it ain't nothing like healing a person. It is that's the biggest satisfaction I get. And when I speak of like or think of like purpose, I think that's my purpose.
Wow.
That's dope. Find your purpose. Most people won't even.
I don't think a lot of people know what their purpose is. And that's major. I mean, because you've had every black athlete's dream, right? You've gone to school, you've gone to a D1 school, you've had the scholarships, you went over to the NFL, you've written, and you have all of these connections, and out of all of that, you want to give back and just help people, educate people.
With the
it's mental healing too, man. So,
what did you say about the books? The racist You want to keep black man ignorant, but don't put it.
Nori Muhammad.
Oh, not Nori Muhammad.
Who?
What's his name? Lynch.
You
said.
Willie Lynch.
Yeah, you want to keep something black people put in the book.
And we'll never find it, and we'll never pick it up. So, how did you win the Emmys? What were you nominated for?
So when I was at NFL Films, I was one of a group of producers on Hard Knocks, and it's the way it's set up, because I don't want nobody to think that I just did the whole show. And nah, it's like divisions within the production area, and like it's certain producers that do this, or it's certain producers that may work on this segment, and that all can vary and interchange. But the group of producers that won, like I won Best Editing one time.
Okay. But
it was a group of us that all we all code at what we do, and I may have this part or this segment or this part, and when we keep blending these segments, these completed segments together, we make the whole strand together. You see what I'm saying? And when we do that, our group wins for certain categories that we're a part of. And I happen to be a part of a few of those, you know what I mean? And, you know, I don't like people to think that, you know, I just did like certain whole shows and nothing, but don't get me wrong, I had my strengths and my niche to where when it was needed, boom, like don't get me wrong, but I love how this whole, it operates, because I see a lot of independent filmmakers and like people who run their own production groups. They do it a certain way, and I just like, and I'm about to really do more of talking about this to people, because I saw it done in the most simplest form, and nobody does it like just small little things to just divvy out more work, you'll get a more complete product in a faster turnaround time. And that's kind of how it was stacked up. Small groups of us, we worked in like little sects. And now I was fortunate enough to be a part of some big projects. And some that other ones I was a part of, not just Hard Knocks, Top 100, Top 10. I mean, I was a content producer on the NFL network show called NFL Playbook. And I was a content producer for NFL Matchup. That was a big show, like a long run. That show been run over 20 years. And, you know, it was a good experience, met good people. And like I said, the accomplishments, never saw myself doing nothing like that, especially how we was growing up.
Right.
And you know what I mean? But, you know, fortunate enough to be able to stand on my own and be able to receive and deliver when it was time.
Wow.
Okay.
And so, last point, but what's dope about Sean's story is the fact that in the beginning of the conversation that we had today, he stated that he got his degree in hospitality management, running a hotel. Editing was not his field. He just went to school and was placed in great situations and connections with people that facilitated the knowledge that he got. That's dope. Like, he didn't go to school for this, and you hear the things that he listed off, not discouraging anybody from school, because it was an added bonus for him going and experiencing the things that he experienced to run into the people that he ran into to be where he is today. So shout out and kudos to you, a young black boy from EC.
From EC. Wait.
All right, Ali, take it over, bro.
Alright, so, you know, we usually do the uncut, you know, like 30 minutes in, but I was intrigued. I definitely want to learn some more stuff about this holistic medicine and healing yourself, because I am a novice. I don't know much. You just said some new stuff, black seed oil, cream towel, Ali. I don't know what these things are, but I'm going to learn. I promise that. But since you weren't in the NFL, I just got a couple little questions, little simple things.
It's uncut time.
But, you know, so when you're in the NFL and all like that, obviously females are plentiful. Were you in a relationship or married at the time?
They present.
Were you in a relationship at the time?
Yeah, I was.
So it happened to me overseas a couple times, but somehow they find a way into your room. I don't know how they do it, but they're there when you come in. And I just want to know, situations like that, if that happened to you and tempted by the...
I would say that didn't happen to me in the NFL, but definitely happened in college. And I don't know how they got in. I would say that, but you know, like, you don't know how they show up, but it does happen. I've heard of that. I would say, from my experience, the lobby, like, of places like our hotel lobby, like right outside of the training camp facility, you know, or after the autograph signing after practice, they be in their packs and clusters, and the area you can see it, you can't miss it. Like, you know what I mean? But they around, man. Always.
Gold digging.
Ambitious.
Oh, that's what that word is?
They are very ambitious. They are goal driven to get some golden seed, sperm, and get those babies and get those checks.
Golden nuggets.
They want the golden nuggets. That is crazy. There are a lot of women who bank on, yes, I am going to be somebody famous's baby mama / wife or whatever the case is, and just how did you dismiss that, or just miss and dodge some of those bullets?
Man, I came from a real place. I seen some shit. So, like, that stuff didn't bother me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had older brothers and cousins, and I seen them deal with women, and I seen how it go early. You know, most of my people that I grew up with, besides like my teammates, was like 30-something when I was 17, 18. You know what I mean? So I was well seasoned before I left. And, you know, I experienced and dabbled in a few things, but for the most part, like, and I've seen this movie before. You know what I'm saying? So
hate reruns.
I didn't just walk forehead first into a different situation just because it was some pussy or just cause in this how I went where I went to school, and I can't, but just cause somebody just on the spot offer to suck your dick, you know, like,
where's the spot?
you know, is hot.
Where's the spot? I need a location.
Like,
pin it.
That, you know, low enticing maybe, but like, that's not, just cause you come and you being bold, that ain't about to make me jump.
Exactly.
Just off of that. I respect it now, don't get me wrong, but like, you know what I mean, it ain't about to, just not me at least, but I done seen other cats, something smaller than that make them get out of character or whatever, so, you know.
So I want to know, like, what's one of your wildest stories?
Ah, man.
About, it can either be in college or NFL.
Wildest story?
Yeah, I just want to know something crazy that most people won't know about except for a high D1 NFL player.
All right, well, I'll take you back to college then. Now this is something I ain't thought about. Wild story. Just period or?
Period. Whatever you want to tell them.
All right. I don't think I would publicly even talk about it.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
So, wild story. I'll tell you about the time that I first ate mushrooms.
You tell?
I ain't gonna say what year it was or when it was, you know, but I was in college and I was offered to eat some mushrooms, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, like this Friday we gonna have this. I stayed across the courtyard for some hippie folks. And honestly enough, the guy was from Chicago, a white guy. He pulled into the complex, listening to Bone. So I'm like, man, what you know about that? I ain't even know him, you know what I'm saying? And we was cool after that. So they was my hippie friends, love them to death still to this day. But I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Man, I went over there and they set the table up. They was like, man, drink some vitamin C with it, you know. Man, I'm drinking some lemonade, like some real lemonade too. And I'm eating these mushrooms. I don't know if y'all remember that Bone song, Ecstasy, where they was talking about when they all took it and everything, and they were feeling it at first and all that. Same thing, so maybe I need to eat a few more.
Yep.
Like,
I know that. No, I know.
You know where this is going.
You don't go do that.
So check this out though. So they like stoners for real. I'm a dude, regular old hood cat. Might smoke a J here and there, like, you know what I'm saying? But I done jumped up to a supposed like hallucinate. You know what I'm saying? Like this thing here. So we climb under they steps. They had a little closet, a little funny little room, but they had all these neon, cause they used to get toasted in like color. They was real hippies and they colored all these crazy neon black light colors. So they cut the lights off and I'm like, ah, shit. Like, now, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, regular street cat, like I ain't big on nothing outside of green. It's a little green here and there. Like, you know what I'm saying, at the time. And man, we in there, man, shit really start moving. Like, you don't be believing, you know, when people say that and all
right.
that. No, you tripping and all that. Tripping is real, man. Tripping, I'm here to tell y'all, tripping is real. Like when they, it didn't make me want to go do LSD and nothing, like, no acid, but like, tripping is real, man. So here, now, if you think you hungry when you high, and you gotta eat. Man, I'm telling you, I remember Golden Tate, the wide receiver, NFL wide receiver, broke into a Krispy Kreme one night. He had to be on shrooms or something higher. I'm telling you, he had to have what he wanted. That's how you be, man. And that's how I was. And like I said, man, I wanted everything that night. If you follow me, I'm talking about I wanted to eat. I don't drink liquor a lot. I drank some liquor. I smoked a cigarette that night. But I might have smoked like 3 cigarettes that night. And I know I could have went a lot of directions, but if you know me any, this is wild, bruh. Cigarettes.
Oh yeah, that shit for the birds.
Alcohol, like getting thrown too. That's what I'm talking about. Like, then, man, you talking about warrior mode.
I was about to say, I knew you was going with this because I heard some
put you warrior. No, and I'm talking about animal. And then you don't sleep. Like, you don't be ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So.
I was offered that before when I was like, I can't do it because it was like you need 24 hours of like nothing the next day, and I'm like, I play basketball, I don't have 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, and I nobody gave me that disclaimer.
Yeah.
I had a meeting at 7 in the morning. I just didn't go to sleep. And like, but man, I'm talking about, and I was still jacked up when I went to that meeting. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about, man, I was watching Family Guy. I had the box set. That was like big back then. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I was watching, I'm laughing at like 5 in the morning. First of all, like it's 5 p.m. and I'm laughing like I ain't never seen this shit before. And like, I was a big fan of Family Guy in college. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I knew this shit line for line. But like, man, I'm watching this shit. I'm talking about, you talking about out of your mind, man. But you still under control. You're aware of everything that's going on. It ain't like you running down the street naked and that. Like, but like, we all know what does that. But nah, like, it ain't like you just sharped out. Like, you under control, but like, shit.
You tripping.
Yeah, you tripping. And you ride it. Like, that's why they call it that. But like, yeah, nah, it's crazy because like, if somebody touch you, it might feel like, you know, that little, like when they wave the wand, that sound, like that heart music, you might feel that shit through your whole body, like for real, like, it's real. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? But nah, yeah, man, like, that was the first time I did that. It's up there. Trust me, we ain't got the time. It's a lot of shit in between. But like, man.
So now, where can everybody do you want anybody to follow you? Where can they find you though to get this free information?
You can look for me. I don't know if you're gonna find me, but you can look for me on Instagram at EC_herbal, HERBAL, Alchemist, ALCHEMIST, EC Herbal Alchemist. _ There you go.
Requested.
So
done.
I got like 8,000 people in there, just waiting.
He should be the one on the top.
I know you know, so you'll get in, man. But like, I'm real picky because a lot of information I give out and share for free shouldn't be shared on some of these platforms. And eyes is eyes, and I know how this thing works. Talking to a man that used to crusade back and forth to the Library of Congress just so I can tell y'all about some of this real, legal, and government information that we've been lied to. So I'm real particular, so don't be mad if it take me 3 weeks to get the full background check on you before I let you in. But once you get in, man, it's a lot of stuff. It's all accredited, it's stamped and approved, and you know, going down to the Library of Congress, I learned black people are Indians, not the Africans. That's what they said.
You
not
know,
me.
I always noted, because I got good hair up underneath here, though.
I bet everybody in this room got a grandmother or a great-grandparent that they knew that told them somebody in their family was Native.
That is true.
I know y'all not about to argue, because it's you.
Ooh. You got anything coming up? Any projects you working on?
Or
is it classified? You gotta wait.
Nope, I can't say.
Okay.
And the only reason I can't say is because it ain't close to being thought about on the top level.
Okay.
And any inkling, it seems like any inkling I let something out, somebody finds it. And
hold on to that gem.
Yeah. I mean, I done been robbed by Sway. I done been robbed by BET.
Oh.
I done been robbed. I done been robbed. It's a dirty game in this TV stuff, man. And I'm taking my production company to Atlanta, and I'm gonna work independent and freelance for a while until I find a real niche. it's a dirty game, man, but I'm built for it. So.
Well, y'all look out for that. Sean Coffey, 2-time Emmy Award winning, all around person that you want to know, right? That's dropping the information, giving you the knowledge that you need for free. Again, don't be upset if it takes him 3 weeks to do a background check on you before you can follow him to get that free information. Guys, we thank you so much for tuning in to season 2, show 5 of the LTC Uncut. Make sure you go back and follow us on the Lunch Time Chronicles. Follow, like, and share. Follow us on the gram at the LTC Uncut. Me again at Mrs. MRSTICIA.
This is where you put it right under me, Ricky. I ain't got to say it. Right there. Make it fit right there.
And you can follow Aaron again at Curvy_Boss BWSE_CEO. Ali, real quick, what we got going on?
Everybody, just make sure y'all following the page because we're going to put something out. We don't have enough time for me to fully go into it because this show was great, so I do apologize for that. But it's going to be out. It's going to be out really soon. Just know it's going to be out really soon. Just stay tuned because I will put it out either Friday or Monday.
Sean Coffey, thank you so much for taking the time to come and be here with us and share that information. If we had enough time, we would dive into that because I really want to hear more about that, us being real Indians. That's dope. You are dope. And again, condolences to you and your family. And just big props on everything that you have coming up in store. We look forward to being maybe on the set as some guests. I don't know, with some press passes. Yeah, all right, LTC Uncut followers and fans, we love you, and we will see you on Thursday. Oh, hold on. What is it? Yep, on Thursday. We out.